Hey everyone, this is Howie Rhee from the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation here in the Duke MBA. Today is July 8th, 2009, and I'm giving you a quick update on some of our activities. So at a very high level, let me just say that we've had a phenomenal year, and I'm going to point out 5 things that I'd like to mention about the year. First is that the Duke Startup Challenge, which is our business plan competition, basically doubled in size compared to the previous year. We went from 25 teams competing to over 60 teams competing. Second, let me mention that the Program for Entrepreneurs is taking root here. In case you're not familiar with that, it's a program where you can start a company and get course credit for starting that company towards your MBA. Third is that we had a great weekly education series this past year called the Duke Entrepreneurship Education Series. We averaged 80 students attending each session in the fall. Fourth is that we had a very strong club here. The Entrepreneurship and Venture Capital Club took home Club of the Year honors from the MBAA, which is a great honor. And lastly, I'll mention that the Duke Global Entrepreneurship Network, or DukeGEN for short, was started a year ago, last April, and this year has crossed the 1,000 member mark, which means that 1,000 alumni and students have joined and are connecting with one another. So those are the top level highlights. I'm now going to go into some more detail on those highlights so that you can have some talking points and some more information. So with the Duke Startup Challenge doubling in size, the Duke Startup Challenge is in its 11th year. The grand prize is $25,000 to the winner. And as I mentioned, we went from 25 to 60 competitors in the elevator pitch competition. In addition, we went from 19 business plans to 36 business plans in the business plan portion of the competition. Number 2, the Program for Entrepreneurs. I mentioned that it's taking root here. Last year we selected 8 students from the incoming class. This year we opened up the application process and had 54 students that applied, which we were surprised and very happy with. Also, we matched those students with technologies. Last year we found 30 technologies and startup ideas, not necessarily technologies. And this year we've found over 70 technologies and startup ideas for those students. Matching takes place from July through October. In July, there's kind of like a kickoff, a 2-day kickoff that takes place before orientation, and then in October we kind of have final selections of the 8 teams that are going to formally enroll in the program. Quick examples of some of the projects we had this past year. One student looked at iPhone applications for students actually preparing for the GMAT, so it would be kind of like a flashcard application that would ask you, typical GMAT questions, and you'd be able to practice on your iPhone. Another example was quick drying dental concrete, if you will, that would make putting a new tooth in kind of a single operation that would kind of take place over the course of one day, as opposed to what's currently the state of the art, which is multiple operations that take place over the course of several months, where you kind of do one stage, you heal again, and then you do another stage and heal again. So this quick drying dental concrete could really revolutionize that process. So those are just some examples for the Program for Entrepreneurs. There's one more actually coming up later on that I'll mention. Number 3, I want to talk about the Duke Entrepreneurship Education Series. So as I mentioned, I think Mint.com, Aaron Patzer, one of Silicon Valley's darlings, came to speak this year. For the coming year, we have a couple of really neat speakers. One is Tim Berry, who is the founder of Palo Alto Software, which makes the top software package for business plan writing called Business Plan Pro. So he's actually coming to the education series, and appropriately we'll talk about business plans, how to write business plans. And the other speaker, who's kind of a combination education series and startup challenge speaker, is Bill Maris, who's one of the co-founders of Google Ventures. We're really excited to have him. He's coming on November 20th, and he'll also be a judge for the Startup Challenge finals and for the elevator pitch competition, and we're just really excited to have him. He actually has a connection to Duke University. He used to work at the Duke University Health System. You can find more information about the education series at www.DukeDEES.com, DukeDEES.com. Next up, number 4, the Entrepreneurship and Venture Capital Club. Like I mentioned, just a phenomenal year last year. Phenomenal in the sense that they just did a great job and won the Club of the Year. What can I say? Adam Mangoni and Georgiana Golomaidis, they're the incoming presidents, and they're going to do a great job this year too. Number 5, the Duke Global Entrepreneurship Network. So as I mentioned, it just started last year. We use LinkedIn a lot for that, and so there's actually a directory where you can look up the profiles of the 1,000 alumni, and you can join as soon as you matriculate to DukeGEN. So already some of the incoming classes joined that network, and LinkedIn is really nice because it has a pretty rich set of functionality and backgrounds and searching. So for example, if you're interested in clean tech companies in Silicon Valley, you can do that search and find people in the Duke alumni network that are good matches for your interests. More information on that at www.dukegen.com, DUKEGEN.com. Actually, just a side note, we're having our first event, a happy hour on August 12th, and that's going to be hosted in 7 cities: Boston, New York City, DC, RTP, LA, London, and I feel like there's one more there, but I might be forgetting it. You can check that out online as well. So the last thing, and here's where I'm going to mention the other program for entrepreneurs company, is that I just wanted to give you an example of kind of how all this comes together. So the winner of the Duke Startup Challenge this year, again, the $25,000 prize, is actually a company from the program for entrepreneurs that got formed. A couple of MBA students, Mark Smallwood and Jonathan Gibbs, found this technology last July, which was from an entomologist based in Charlotte. For those of you who have forgotten what an entomologist is, that's an insect expert. And basically this entomologist figured out a way to genetically modify silkworms so that instead of producing regular silk, they produce spider silk. And the benefit of producing spider silk is that it's stronger, and one possible application of that is that it could be put into a Kevlar vest and increase the strength of the Kevlar vest for stopping bullets while actually decreasing the weight of that vest. So that's kind of a really neat example of how the program for entrepreneurs matched Duke MBA students with an idea, got them through the process here in order to win the Duke Startup Challenge. Hopefully you enjoyed the update. Send me an email if you have any questions. Thanks.